Coach, kind of been talking about it all year leading up to this, but last year kind of went into the season not knowing and just kind of hoping to get in, and that was the expectation this year. How different was it sitting here watching it today compared to your first year here?
I wasn't as nervous as last year, but when they wait to the last bracket, you start thinking some crazy thoughts because of the historic week the championship week was, and all the chatter about how difficult it was for the committee to leave some teams that were deserving in most years out of the tournament. So when you start seeing some teams that you thought maybe you were ahead of and they're getting some decent seeds, you know your mind plays tricks on you, but certainly it made it more gratifying to see your name come up there as an 8 seed.
Steph, go ahead.
Obviously, you guys, we're here today to watch it together. I guess, what was it like kind of seeing the reaction from your players to finally get your name called?
That's what I told Sherry. We were standing next to each other looking, at the TV above us, and once I figured out, hey, there's TVs over there, let's turn around and then we can watch them and see, it come up at the same time. And, it was cool. It was fun. That's one of those moments that you never forget, to see their joyful reaction. And, for some of them, a dream to come true since they started playing this game. And, it was really nice to see him celebrate and enjoy it. And I'm going to let him do that, the rest of the evening.
Justin, the coach is right.
Chris, you were obviously very careful with your wording during the week in Nashville, just after games and stuff. Was there ever a point, either after the LSU win or the Tennessee win, where you truly felt comfortable that you guys were going to make the field today?
Obviously, with each win, you feel a little bit better about it. And then certainly with Tennessee's resume and, where they stand in terms of their metrics and that, et cetera, you felt like, man, we should be in there by now. But that wasn't our mindset at all, down in Nashville. We expected to be playing this afternoon with a chance to cut down some nets like Auburn did. And certainly we're disappointed and still are with those results. Now, obviously, we'll turn the page and get ready for the NCAA Tournament. But, you just never know. I try not to dig too deep in what everyone's saying and let it play out.
Sean, go ahead.
Chris, obviously, you can't even remotely think about how things are going to go, but, from your own personal end, with how you all kind of ended the season and went into the SEC tournament, where do you kind of feel that your team is kind of at heading into, March Madness?
I think we're playing better. I thought, 120 minutes in 3 consecutive days, with noon starts every game. Them are tough turnarounds. And they were locked in, and I thought they played better defensively than we had some of the previous games down the stretch of the regular season schedule. We certainly had some down moments there. We had some stretches where we'd like back, and which is pretty typical for most games. But I think they've seen, and got back to, like I talked about down in Nashville, of how we need to play to be successful. We shared some information with them to get them to understand when we were playing our best, why was that? And it went back to, our core principles of our program. And, I think they rallied around that, and it really helped us win a couple games down there.
Bobby, Steph.
Digging into the big picture a little more, just thinking back at the resume that y'all built, and more importantly, the SEC schedule that y'all played this year and how tough it was, just how prepared do you feel like that schedule made y'all for this tournament?
We'll find out here soon enough. And we got a ton of respect for the Big Ten and the Michigan State Spartans and Tom Izzo and all that. And they play in a equally tough basketball conference, so I'm sure they're more than battle tested themselves. But even playing in Nashville, with the platform and the lights and the stage, it feels like the NCAA tournament. I've been in, fortunately, a bunch of NCAA tournament games at different positions on the bench, and it's different when you're new at it. And the SEC tournament, it just feels just like it, other than the courts aren't of the NCAA March Madness brand. So I think having played 3 games down there should make everyone feel more comfortable and not have the lights quite as bright. And hopefully that experience will help us going into this weekend.
Obviously, you're gonna scout Michigan State as you guys get ready here, but for you guys defensively, the way you played against LSU and Tennessee especially, does that give you confidence that if you guys can do that defensively, it doesn't matter, you know, who the matchup is against?
Yeah, we got a confident group. You know, I think our confidence is as high as it's been all season long. I mean, I don't ask them all the time, but just from reading body language, just the vibe that we got going on in our practices right now. Every coach in America wants their team to be playing their absolute best, you know, coming down the stretch, and we're no different. And I think we're in a really good spot. And I want to make sure and get this out there because I won't be asked about it, but I think a couple individuals need to be recognized, and we'll have forgotten about that. But in my opinion, the reason that, you know, we're getting the seed and maybe even in the tournament goes back to Jimmy Bell and Guy Chol. I mean, I don't know where we'd be if Guy Chol didn't play at the level that he played. Now, it wasn't 25, 30 minutes a night, but he was invaluable for us in some of those games and when Tolu wasn't available. And then Jimmy, with the work that he put in as a starter before Tolu's return, I'm not sure if we'll be able to handle you know, some of those teams like we did. And I just think that those two guys are kind of the unsung heroes for our complete body of work this season.
Why do you think that, I mean, this team making it to back-to-back NCAA tournaments for the first time, I think, in 15 years, you know, obviously a testament to the great job that you've been doing in Starkville. How do you think you've been able to kind of have so much success early on with this program, you think, so far?
You know, I said it when I got here that Coach Howland and his staff did a tremendous job of having good players, and equally important, having good kids in the program, and I meant what I said. And fortunately, they gave us some time to get to know them, and then in the end, you know, for the most part, the ones that we wanted to come back, you know, chose to come back, and it was some blind faith on their part, and we sold them a vision of what we thought we could do, and part of it was, you know, we didn't have a 3-4 year plan. You know, if you remember back to, you know, the first day I was introduced here, that's what I talked about, you know.